And we're back on part 2 of episode 3 of our podcast that we like to call
On Bullshit.
Because the world is full of bullshit. Now, we literally just finished recording, but what did we talk about in part 1? Besides coffee.
Well, yeah, so we had the long coffee talk, which was quite good, I think informative, but now we're on to terrorist groups and specifically how right-wing white terrorists and militias are actually probably a bigger threat in the U.S. than Muslims.
Foreign terrorists.
Or yeah, foreign terrorists in general.
But specifically Muslims, because that's what white people are afraid of right now.
All I was going to say was, like, before we got off on the last episode, the thing that always annoyed me was whenever a white person committed, like, an actual act that would be considered a terrorist act, we never
call it a terrorist act.
Yeah, like you said, we just talked about white people as, like, this person's disturbed. It's unusual that they would do this, but if a Muslim did it, you're like, you know, fucking Muslims.
Instantly, they've been planning this their entire life. They have been trained for this.
Terrorists have infiltrated America. We're all fucked. You know?
Yeah. In our local paper this week, there was an art. I did not bother to finish reading it, but basically, it was talking about how the Muslims, when they come in, they become radicalized. They gather groups. They take over communities, and like spread out. Literally, in my head, I'm thinking, you are describing how Christianity came to the continent. And just like these, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. People are allowed to have their own beliefs, their own opinions on political criteria, political views, everything, right? But when you're basically saying that a human being that has different beliefs than you do is less of a human, doesn't deserve the same rights as you, there is something wrong. Just I don't know.
No, I was just gonna say, like, kind of like we were talking about earlier. I've been trying to find out, you know, kind of what the other side's argument is, and like today I saw the video talking about the Muslim ban that a couple of conservative friends had posted around, where it was like some Marine was giving his side of view on why, you know, the Muslim ban, not to say it was even right or wrong or good or bad, just like he was trying to make this point, like, you know, well, maybe not everything is like black and white because I'm over here.
The world is just shades of gray.
It is.
We're not referencing 50 Shades of Grey, that is a piece of shit literature that we will never talk about.
That's going to be it. Well, we might have to, just because I feel like we'll have so much funny stuff to say.
Okay, that means we have to read it.
Maybe.
So we can criticize it.
Yeah, okay, we won't talk about it.
Maybe Spark Notes.
Spark Notes, there you go.
Anyway, continue.
No, yeah, sorry. Anyway, just to kind of sum it up, but he was trying to make the point that, like, well, you know, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world because I'm over here in Iraq right now, and, you know, I asked, like, people on the street, like, well, would you be welcoming towards Americans, you know, if we were out walking around on the street? And he was told, supposedly, like, no, you get kidnapped and killed right away, and you know, and maybe tortured, and he was like, that's my point, the fact that, these people would, you know, try and kidnap me and kill me over here, so I can't even go out without having escorts because it's too dangerous. And so he's like, so why should we invite them to my country? You know, why should I invite you to my homeland, is what he would say to these people. But the thing that, like, the glaringly obvious kind of thing this misses is the fact that, like, we went into this country and destabilized it and just really fucked up Iraq and Afghanistan. Like, nothing has been made better.
I have a feeling they would have sorted themselves out just fine if we hadn't interfered.
I mean, they were, like, in a fucked up situation. Like, Saddam Hussein is clearly, or was, just a fucking psychopath, like a lot of the dictators are, but the fact is they were stable, and what, you know,
we didn't need to get our foot in the door.
Well, it hasn't improved under, after everything we've done. In fact, everything's worsened. Afghanistan got worse. Iraq's getting worse. We're talking about getting up and leaving because we can't fucking seem to accomplish anything we want to accomplish there.
They're too busy fighting each other and trying to make us go away to figure out what the heck to do with their country.
I mean, so after being in that country for so many years and making everyone's life pretty much worse,
you're still saying that, well...
Are you going to pretend this should... Like, they shouldn't be allowed to come here because they hate us there, and, that's your point? That to me was just really...
No, it's
pathetic.
You're in... Not necessarily just him specifically, but we're in their country without invitation.
Right.
So, and why should we feel justified for saying, no, you can't come into our country without invitation?
I mean, imagine if, the Chinese randomly said, you know what, Trump's crazy, we're going to come into America and liberate you guys, we'll be seen as heroes, and this is just going to go awesome.
We would do the exact same thing. We would go al jihad on them.
Yeah, we'd be like, no, fuck China, you have no right to be here, get the fuck out.
Even though they own us.
Yeah.
Had to get that out there.
No, yeah, that's the thing. I just feel like everyone, has... A lot of people have this glaring omission where they don't, think about the fact that we went there
invaded them.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It can be for peacekeeping or whatever, but their lives are worse. So, let's not pretend.
We are not the world's peacekeepers.
Yep.
We can't even keep our own country in, not obeying the rules, but we can't maintain order in our country because there's all this discrimination to our own citizens. And, we hate women. We don't want to protect them. We don't like people that aren't straight, even though they're, some of the very best people to be around. Because they don't lie to you about who they are. Unless they have to, because they think you're gonna, kill them or hurt them or something. Because you're that bigoted.
You at least understand why people don't come out necessarily.
Right? And now it's just no, that doesn't work. Take care of your own country, your own people, before you try to decide that other countries can't get their own governments right, and they should do what we do, when clearly what we do was never meant to work perfectly.
I mean, I feel like literally the summation of this argument is we have Donald Trump for president.
And our country's just going down the shitter.
Who is now majority unfavorable.
Yeah, there are so many lawsuits against him.
I know, probably for most people, I'm just preaching to the choir, but again, the guy's been in office for a matter of a few weeks and is already unpopular by the majority of the country.
And so many people are regretting voting for him, just like I've said to you already. You made this bed of nails. You gotta lay in it, even if you don't like the poking.
I don't understand how, the average Trump supporter, can...
Justify?
Anymore, at least, or... In the beginning, you could pretend and say, oh, well, he'll clean out the swamp. He's a Washington outsider. He's gonna... And
then he's just hiring more billionaires right and left.
Yeah, it's here's, a bunch of Goldman Sachs. Hillary would be, she would be hung, if
she tried to do something like what he's doing.
Exactly, because already, even during the primaries, that was, the whole Bernie Sanders, on why Hillary shouldn't be the Democrat primary because she's too close to these banks and Wall Street and
then you pick someone straight from Wall Street into is Trump part of Wall Street?
Well, yeah, no, exactly. Well, yeah, and that's what he kind of picked up that mantle and ran on as look, but she is an insider and I'm not. So even if I'm wild and unpredictable, I'm still a better.
Except you can't run a country the way you run an enterprise.
Okay, that is the... You hit the nail on the head on, just another thing that's, crazy and fucked up about the Trump administration is... I don't even think he sees the country as being a more important entity than his businesses. He's
His
still
businesses
clearly...
are way more important.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's still encouraging world leaders to, like, go stay at his hotels.
Yeah, just
and to
like...
pay him money for, you know, investing in new projects. Like, it's insane.
You're offending all these world leaders while you give them a backhanded invitation to pay you money to stay at your hotels.
Yeah. Well, and you know, like, the icing on the cake for me, too, was just a few days ago, you know, it came out that, guess what the Trump administration's doing with servers? They're using their own private email servers.
When he was dragging Hillary through the swampy mud about using her private server.
I mean, the Republicans, the right, they went crazy about that. You know, and it's not even that unprecedented because so many other politicians have done it, but...
It's just easier.
It was just like, well, Hillary's running for president, so fuck her, and this is suddenly a big deal to everyone. And now that Trump's doing it as president, the thing that everyone swore she was a crooked, corrupt person for that deserved to go to jail.
He's doing the exact same fucking thing.
And nobody gives a shit now because I think everyone would admit, okay, we don't care because she lost, so now that our guy won, who cares, right?
Yeah, it was just a thing to argue about and, like, put her down for.
And I mean...
And it doesn't matter anymore.
And I get, like, yes, you have this happen in politics. I'm sure there's stuff that people could probably argue that I've done, you know, similar things on, but there's just so much, like, unprecedented bullshit.
Yeah, like... It's perfect. We're a podcast. But, like, when you make such a huge, giant, shitty deal about something that someone is doing, and then someone that you elect into the highest position in this country, and they're doing the exact same fucking thing, there's something wrong with you.
When it's, like, kind of the whole, like, central platform for your campaign, like I'm not a Washington insider, so vote for me, and then people...
And then he's hiring all these billionaires for his cabinet.
Yeah, because
like,
who
boss.
better to deal with the everyday man's issue than a billionaire?
People that will line his pocket. That's what it comes down to, the bottom line for the Trump family. That's all he cares about.
God. Yeah, I mean, the blind trust.
I don't even know how that's supposed to work.
Yeah, neither does Trump.
I
mean, really, like...
So what you're saying is I should be president right now.
Yeah, no, literally. At this point, like, anyone that ever, like, had feelings like, I was not qualified to go apply for a job or something, should throw that all away because Trump has proven it doesn't fucking matter anymore.
You don't need experience. You don't need knowledge. You just gotta have the balls to get up and do it.
Meritocracy is bullshit. Yeah, that's what I've learned.
Oh.
I think the other thing I've taken away from this election is just like, I think if you have, the less shame you have as a person, I think the further you can go. Because, and Twitter. And Twitter. It just seems like, I mean, no other politician can do what Trump did and just not get killed.
Politician.
And he just has no shame.
That
because
too.
Even when they try to call him... When they try to call him out on anything, it's just like, no, I didn't do that.
He has
like,
a tantrum like he's 2 years old.
But it's like, we saw you do this. And he's like, nope. And it's like, and everyone,
I
guess,
have
is just
this
like...
recording of you doing this thing. No, that's not me. No, that didn't happen. That was staged. Sorry.
No, he can get away with that. And he's just, and everyone's like, oh, well, it's Trump. He just fucking lies a lot. So, oh well, you know, like, it's like, how do you defeat that?
Congratulations, America. You have elected a lying Oompa Loompa to be your president. Good job.
Yeah. Oh my god. I think we could just do like endless podcast episodes on like my problems with the Trump administration, but
we could.
We're already in our last minute here, so.
Oh no, that went by really fast.
I'm telling you, this is good stuff.
It's a blink of an eye.
I mean, it's the perfect topic though for on bullshit.
It really is. This is like the perfect year for us to have started this podcast.
This was a good ranty podcast. Now we got to think hard about what we'll do for the next episode.
We'll see.
We'll have something good.
How much time do we have left?
About 30 seconds. What do you want to say?
Anyone that actually listens to this, if you know of anyone that would like to listen to us, please share the podcast. We want to grow as a channel.
Exactly. And we are looking to have guests. I anticipate maybe next week.
Hopefully, cross our fingers.
Or the week after. Soon we'll
At
have
some
guests.
point, we'll have a guest.
We'll have dissenting opinions.
Yeah, and, leave us comments about stuff to talk about.
Thanks.